This is to answer a question from Mo. You asked a fair question, and I want to give you a real answer because a man in need, here I come. He asked the question, how does he handle bullies? I'm going to tell you how to handle bullies. Stoicism is definitely the answer, and the only way I can say you beat your enemy is you beat him at the game, not just the round. Because right now you're living in one round of the game. That round will end, though, and then comes the next round. Think big picture while they're thinking small. Work on making yourself so awesome and enjoy your life that they become jealous of the great life you have. They look cool now, but you will look cool in the end. You beat them with your own success. I concur with that. This was the advice my father gave when I was younger. I came home one day crying because I was picked on every day, but never fought back. He asked me, "Why are you crying?" And I said, because I'm being beaten up every day. I'm being picked on and I get beat up every day. Even girls pick on me. And he looked at me with the most ridiculous expression, and he went, "Chris, why don't you fight back?" Light bulb. I remember hearing him say that. And the only reason, and I told him the reason, I said, the only reason I don't fight back is because I'm afraid of what you would say. See, my father's respect meant the world to me. Because he had done so much and he was going through so many hard times. And all schools and teachers tell you, and all every woman in my life would be like, don't fight back, just run, or don't worry, it's not worth it. But they don't understand that respect is what everything comes down to. And when my father heard my answer as I was always afraid of what you would say, he just gave me another ridiculous expression and went, "Chris, I will never be upset with you for standing up for yourself. I'll be upset if you don't." And then I took these words in, and then he said the thing I'll never forget, which is in my book, which is one of the books I'll recommend at the end. He said, "Chris, who does the bully fight? Who does the bully pick on? Those who fight back or those who don't? As long as you don't fight back, they're going to keep picking on you, because the sole purpose of a bully is to look cool, is to feel cool, is to take advantage of somebody they think they can take advantage of. So you have to disabuse them of that fact. Do you understand?" And then he would say, "It doesn't even matter if you win or lose the fight, Chris. It's that you fight back." Because in that bully's mind, he's thinking, every single time I pick on this person, no matter how many times I beat him up, he's going to fight back. Sooner or later, that guy's going to get tired of getting punched in the face. Even if you're a tiny little guy with little small hands, it hurts getting punched in the face. He's like, "Yeah, I beat him up, but every single time I pick on him, he fights me." He's going to stop fighting you. And then my father, being a tough little Irishman who grew up in New York, on the streets of New York, gave me the next best advice. He said, "Here's how you handle a group of people if they're picking on you. You single him out." And how do you do that? How do you encourage him to fight you solo? It's very simple. You single him out by calling him out. "Yeah, you're gonna need all your friends if you're gonna fight me. Yeah, good thing you have all your friends. You're gonna need them. You're gonna need your fucking friends if you think you're gonna survive me." You call them out by saying, "Good thing you have all your friends. You're gonna need them to fight me." When you do that, either he's going to do it or his friends are gonna do it for him. They're gonna all look at each other like, "What? No, he doesn't. He doesn't need us. Watch." And then they're going to throw him to the wolf. You're the wolf. And the second they do that, you charge. Now, What happens if you end up beating up this kid? His friends will jump in, but the damage is already done. And the second his friends start to jump in, don't stay there. If you do, ball up into a tight little ball. Just do your best, stay alive, okay? Run when they jump in, but wait for them to jump in. I'm not an encourager of trying to pretend to do what you see in martial arts films, and that's try to fight a whole group of people, especially if weapons get involved. When weapons come out, which can happen, especially if they're losing their asses off or they're trying to look really cool and scary. I say that because I can't tell you how many people have threatened to use weapons and didn't, and then I can tell you the ones that did usually did the least threatening. They just pulled out the weapon, and those were the scary ones. But if they pull a weapon, don't try to act tough. I did, and I got stabbed. Don't get stabbed. Run, just run. Just run. Save yourself. Run, it's okay. There's no shame in running from a weapon. But another person? Nah, you gotta fight them. I'm not an advocate of running in that situation. I'm an advocate of standing your ground, showing them that you will fight them every single time they pick on you. So once they throw their friend to the wolf, you're at them like a white on rice. You are pounding away, you are throwing fists, you are doing everything you can to hurt that person, okay? We're in a situation where I know people are going to say what I'm saying is nuts, but what I'm saying is how to deal with bullies. And then stoicism is how you're going to beat them in the long run, but a bully in the situation, learning to run from fights is cowardice. And you don't want to become a coward because those people grow up cocky as hell, talking down to people, thinking they have all the answers without ever actually being in physical combat. And they don't understand the danger they're in at times, that sometimes those people talk themselves straight into being murdered. You don't want to be murdered later in life. You want people to at least question if it's a good idea to fight you. And that's something that also is a very attractive trait that only encourages your growth as a man. It encourages people to respect you. It gives them the push they need to be respectful. So you're dealing with a group of people, call out the guy with the biggest mouth. Usually he's the smallest too. Your situation might be different. Maybe it's the biggest guy, but if it's the biggest guy, he probably hasn't been in very many actual fights. He's only been in fights with smaller people. But if every time he picks on you, he's like, fuck, God, stop, you're hitting me. Even if he feels like you're a gnat to him, he's going, shit, stop hitting me. I'm going to pick on somebody else. And he's going to go find a new target. Now, the thing to look out for is don't become fight crazy. I made this mistake. I became all about fighting. The second my dad gave me permission, I went to school the very next day and got in 3 fights. You have to stand up for yourself, and it's also really good for your character in many other ways. In business, it's good to stand up for yourself. In relationships, it's good to stand up for yourself. The trick is you want to still have the sword, and you want your sword to be sharp, and you want to know how to wield the sword in combat. The trick, though, is to keep it sheathed and ready. You don't need it. Just keep it sheathed and ready. You can walk around realizing that you're one of the knights in this world. You are born to keep everyone safe. And every room you enter, everyone can feel comfortable because they know they have one fighter in it. And if they don't know that, you know that. And that fills you with confidence. Now, a one-off occurrence where you just meet one person or a group of people, you don't need to act tough and fight them. Who cares? They're losers. They're just trying to look cool and tough. You can be like, whatever, walk away. But if you're running into reoccurring situations where you keep running into the same group of kids or the same group of people over and over and over again, there's only one solution. You have to fight them. And here's the irony of it. This is going to sound crazy, but once you fight them, some of my closest friends, I'd say 80% of my closest friends to this day are people I've been in fights with. You might end up becoming friends. That's the truth. It took you fighting him or fighting that loudmouth to turn the whole situation around. Because now people respect you. They see a different person. They don't see a target. They see a man. It doesn't matter if you're small, big, or anything else. You have to stand up for yourself, and the world remembers those who fight back. and they quickly try their best to forget and not spend time with the person who doesn't, because that person's a target. And nobody wants to hang out with a target because it makes them targets. So you don't have friends that jump in your corner. But when you stand up to bullies, you'll be surprised how many people flock to your corner. So there's that. That's how you handle a bully. You have to fight them. Unlike what women, teachers, or everybody else says, and no offense to women, I think they're correct in a lot of ways on how to shape your character, but the schooling system, they definitely fail men because they're trying to make you operate in such a way that is delusional and not real. Stand up for yourself. And I would say this to women too. Stand up for yourself. You got to be willing to fight sometimes. And I mean, my sister did. And she's a wonderful person with 3 great kids and living a great life. Respect is what it always comes down to. And you want respect, and you deserve respect. But first you have to respect yourself enough to realize, yeah, you might get beat up. You might get beat up 9 times out of 10 by that same person. But if every time they pick on you, they realize they're going to get in a fight, they're not going to pick on you anymore. They're going to find someone else. And they might become your friend. And then you can say to them later, hey man, let's not pick on people. Let's be the bigger people. Let's keep our swords sheathed. To answer your last question, the books I would recommend: 48 Laws of Power, The Way of the Superior Man, The Art of War, Purpose-Driven Life by John Eldredge. Now, he's Christian and he focuses on God a little bit, but it's still the first 5 books of Moses is the core basis of the Torah. It's the beginning of the Torah, it's the beginning of the Quran, and it's the beginning of the Bible. So you're getting the same message. And those are the books that he would focus on a lot. But 12 Rules for Life, and then Beyond Order, another 12 Rules for Life. Okay? Those 6 books. So again, 48 Laws of Power, The Art of War, Way of Superior Man, Purpose-Driven Life, 12 Rules for Life, Beyond Order, another 12 Rules for Life. Now you can read some in each. You can also read some Jung. These are great people to read from. I'm not a huge fan of Freud, but he does have some points that are worth thinking. I just think Freud sounds like a guy who was hopped up on drugs a large part of his life, and he was just kind of throwing shit at the wall, and some of it stuck and some of it didn't. And he just tried to sound superior. That's just what I got from it. I didn't feel like a man who really came to understand answers. But yeah. That, and if you have your belief, I would read the books that encourage your belief, that strengthen your belief. Whatever they are, it's good to have belief in something. Whether it be the universe, God, Allah, any of the above. These are good things. They give you purpose, focus, and direction. All right? Those are the books. Anyways, Mo, I hope this answered your question, man. I'm pulling for you. I really am. If anybody else has any questions or anything else they'd like the answers to, or just my opinion on, I'm not going to pretend I have all the answers. And everything I say is interchangeable, just about. What I say to men, I say to also women. Sometimes I just say she a lot, or he. I mean no offense. This is just, I speak very confidently about, from my perspective. But it's usually interchangeable. The only time it's usually not is sometimes around the realm of dating, and sometimes around the realm of fighting. Like, I don't think women should ever. I think you should just run. Let me do the fighting. You take off for the hills. I'll handle the fighting. It's my job. Let me do it. And it's just an easier life that way. When you already know you're going to be the one to solve the problem, that's your job, that's your role, then it's not up for debate. And those little debates people have is where people freeze during fight or flight, I've come to learn. My experience comes from, I'm college educated. I've spent 6 years in the military, served with 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marines. I've been all over the world. I visited many different cultures. I've been through all kinds of stuff. I had a very rough upbringing. And I think I've experienced all the pains that a man can experience, and I'm still standing. And I face tomorrow with a smile on my face and the reassuring thought of, bring it on. You deserve this too. And I want you all to have it. And I really don't want to sound like if I'm coming across cocky or anything like that, I do not mean to. I just want the best life for everyone, and I want us all to move forward, and us all to be friends, and I want us to all be strong, and I want us to all have the best lives. That's it. I'm pulling for you, Mo. Any other questions, feel free to ask. Please subscribe if you want more answers. Take care, guys.